Hello, everybody. It's me, your boy, Oliver Hoods. Hello. Welcome. Sorry. Okay. So today we're reading creepy stuff. Because I really love doing this, and I just want to. So here we are. Yeah. If you have any suggestions, feel free to throw them out. Okay. Let's get started. So, patient. Alright, I think we'll just start with good old creepypasta. Creepypasta's fun. Hold on, let me just adjust my mic a little bit. It might be a little loud. I want to get it right up here so that we can get a good creepypasta reading voice. Alright. Go with the pasta of the month, maybe? I think that'd be a good start. Ugh. I don't like this. I don't like this. But hey, let's get the music going. Beautiful. My vision is blurred and dark as I open my eyes. I can feel immense pressure in my head as I realize that I am hanging upside down. As the clarity of my vision returns, I notice that the room I am in is completely unfamiliar to me. It looks like a dark, old, and decrepit basement from an abandoned crack house. Rotted wood, massive spider webs, and the smell of must surround me. My initial instinct is to scream for help, but I stop myself before I do so. No, they'll hear you, I think to myself. Whoever did this, they'll hear if you scream. Instead, I decided to put all my focus into trying to free myself. My body is completely bound in some sort of sticky rope. I can hear the sound of cracking as it separates and resticks as I wiggle around. Whatever the stuff is, there's no freeing myself from it. I begin to panic as claustrophobia begins to set in. The idea of being bound and immobilized has always been a terrifying thought for me. The pressure of my blood rushing to my head from hanging upside down for so long soon begins to affect me. My vision starts to go blurry again, and the weight of my lungs begins to strain my breathing. Coupled with the anxiety of being in this predicament, I begin to lose it. My composure breaks as I begin to scream and cry. It's too much for me. Even if it means some psychopath comes and finishes me off, I can't stay like this any longer. Maybe I'd get lucky, and my kidnapper isn't here. Maybe the screams will be heard by a passerby and find me wherever here is. I scream and cry, scream as loud as my pressured lungs will allow. My vision soon begins to darken once again. Before I pass out, I notice something. There's a wooden staircase ahead of me, and I soon begin to hear the sounds of footsteps. They aren't heavy. More so, they sound like someone is walking with tapping dance shoes. Jeez. Sorry. Are you awake, dear? I hear a calm, distant voice from upstairs. The figure begins to slowly walk towards the stairs, metallic tapping with each step. I become speechless as I notice exactly who, or what, the figure is. Whatever this thing is, it's not human. First glance, because of my affected vision, appears to be a tall, slender woman. Long, tangled hair covers her face as she slowly approaches. As I pay closer attention, however, I notice two arms hold on to the railing, two more arms grabbing the ceiling above her. What I thought was tap dancing shoes revealed as long, bony legs with barb-like claws protruding from her feet. As I scream at the sight, she lifts her head to stare at me, massive mandibles opening up wide as she lets out a horrible wail. 6 pairs of black eyes opening wide as she does. She rushes over to me, 2 clawed hanging, grabbing my body, the other 2 grabbing my face. I can feel the warmth of urine as I lose all composure. I panic at her upside-down face, coming close to my own. Massive mandibles lock onto my face, digging into the 4 corners as I feel the horrible sensation of a fleshy, digesting tube enter my mouth. I struggle as I feel some kind of fluid go down, well up, my throat, my gag reflex failing me. She finishes her violation. She backs away and retracts the mandibles into her face. The fold inward and eventually her face just looks like a normal woman. Many eyes closed shut. Then she opened the 2 located at the normal area where human eyes would be. No longer are the eyes a tar-like black like before, but a regular pair of brown human eyes. As I observe her now human-looking face, I recognize who she is. It all comes back to me, who she is, and where I was before I woke up. You, I say as I try to forcefully vomit whatever was inside of me. She's a VTuber on Twitch. Her name is Juniper. And this is how she eats. This is just from Juniper's perspective. This is from the victim's perspective. I met her at a coffee shop where I work. She came in, struck up a conversation, and we had immediately hit it off. By the end of the night, I found myself at her apartment and in her bed. I remember after we did the deed, I began to get lightheaded. I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. I stared at my reflection. My vision went dark, and I passed out right then and there. This was the last thing I remembered before I woke up. Hanging upside down by what I previously thought was rope, I'm now convinced it's some kind of webbing. "Hello, dear," she says in a calm, relaxed tone. "Thank you so much for such a wonderful time." She turns around, folding her extra arms behind her, retracts her claws into her fingers. As she walks back up the stairs, she stops and says one last thing. "I know you'll take good care of them. I'm so happy I met you. Make sure they're well fed and growing to be big and strong." No, I take that back. This is literally anti. Fuck yeah, dude. Wait a second. Every horrific possibility of what she meant races through my mind. I begin to panic once again, screaming and crying out for anyone to help. I soon begin to feel something in my stomach. "Oh no!" I cry out loud. The pain is excruciating, and it feels like something is tearing me up from inside. I scream as loudly as I can, and I feel bile coming from my throat, pouring onto the floor. Almost immediately, I pass out and awaken in a bed. I sit up quickly and realize I'm in my room, in my bed. I begin to sob as I realize that it was all a horrible dream. I walk into my bathroom, splash water on my face, stare at my reflection and realize I look like absolute shit. My complexion is pale like a corpse. Rings under my eyes add to that comparison. Okay. Suddenly, I gag. Bile expels from my mouth. Pain's unlike anything else. I grab my abdomen reflexively and notice something odd. Feel around my hands and realize that there's a dozen tiny lumps. They're moving around under my skin, inside my body. I scream and scream as they move their way up my body and reach my throat. Soon after, dozens of bird-shaped spiders. Bird-sized. Bird-shaped. Soon after, dozens of bird-sized spiders emerge from my mouth as their sharp-clawed feet scratch the inside of my throat as they climb their way out. I try to scream. My voice is blocked as One after the other, these small monsters are birthed from my esophagus. Once again, I pass out from pain, the panic, and the exhaustion. I awake, still on the bathroom floor. The lights are still on. I feel it around my body. I feel skinny. All the fat and muscle has been sucked out of me. I'm barely strong enough to stand. I saw much of the strength to use the bathroom sink to pick myself up. In my reflection, I noticed I look even worse than before. I'm even paler. But now black liquid stains my mouth, chin, chest. I hear shuffling come from my bedroom. I slowly approach the door, shaking. I open it, and the shock of what I see leaves me speechless. All around the room, there are children. Small, normal-looking toddlers, completely naked and covered in black slime. Sit and stand all around the room. I have no words. I have no idea what to do. I try to speak, but only a small peep comes out. As soon as they hear the sounds of my words failing to come, they focus their attention on me. There is an uneasy silence as I stare at them, and they stare at me. Suddenly, 4 more sets of eyes open wide as they all let out high-pitched shrieks. Their mouths open wide to reveal horrible-looking mandibles. Oh, so this is how Juniper reproduces. Okay. They rush over to me and I scream as they latch on. Oh, this is what she meant when she said that she lays eggs. I fall to the floor, mentally prepare myself to be eaten alive. But that doesn't happen. They are hugging me. Tiny arms are wrapping around my arms, legs, and bodies. They rub their tiny, horrible-looking faces on me. I want to scream, but I don't want to set them off. One of them looks me right in the eyes. Creepy-looking smile forms as it retracts its mandibles back into its face. Tiny black eyes are staring at me. I suppose this means today is my first Father's Day. Bazinga. Got him! No. Hey! Back. Okay. We're good. We're all okay here. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? One of those streams. That's alright, lads. Creepypasta isn't for everyone. But it's fun. I love doing this. I also don't want to like talk that much shit because, you know, I understand and I have no problem with people writing this stuff, but man, sometimes is it goofy. By sometimes I mean pretty much all the time. Always something. But I love it. Alright. This is Dora. I think the lesson here is always wear a condom. This is the smart boy here. Okay, sure. Cool. All right, so we did the pasta of the month, which was the whole time I could just think I was just thinking, is this Juniper? But like a spider? Or she also like kind of a spider? Who knows? Okay. Got a bunch of different what's the word? Subgenre. I don't know what's wrong with me today. These are weird. I want to see all of them because there's a lot more than just like animals and stuff. Because you know what they do have? They have much cooler stuff like theory or my personal favorite. But we've already done a whole stream with nothing but them. Is the even be on here? Lost episode creepypasta. I think lost episode creepypastas are the best. Cause man, let's do a theory. But hey, it's just a theory. A game theory. Ashtrays. Sure. We all know smoking is really bad for your health. A whole lot of people don't realize is that when you smoke, those few minutes of your oh shit. This one's too short. I ain't gonna get the music. I literally transform into ashtray, flicking to the ashtray. Ashtrays, each one of them, are constructed by a single group running several dozen front companies. Basically, unless you're putting out your smokes beneath your heels or an ashtray your kid made at camp, you're dispensing the ash and life into its group's eager little receptacle. The ashtrays reserve life force, and the ashes and send it to a central holding facility. No one knows for sure these guys are going to do it to collect all the life energy, but it's probably going to be huge. Incidentally, there's talk of a rival organization leading the anti-smoking political agenda from behind the scenes. Probably figure removing smoking sessions and thus ashtrays from restaurants and bars. It's a good first step towards thwarting whatever it is the evil ashtray company is trying to do. No. I just want to see who got that picture, but I don't know. That's that. Lame. Disney. Disney catacombs, Disney t-shirts, pets. Friday incident, that one was good. Disney catacombs? Anyone? How long is this one? Kind of fucking long, but hey, let's do it. There's a specific reason I wanted a Disney one. Let's go, baby. So a couple years back, my buddies and I tried to stay in the park after closing time. Our plan was just to take pictures. Nothing sinister or anything like that. Just wanted to be able to say we did it, you know? Basically, we snuck from bathroom to bathroom, corner to corner, managed to stay there until they closed the gates and the maintenance team got to work. We were really surprised we hadn't gotten caught. It was almost strange, considering how much talking up Disney security gets. Our hearts were beating like crazy. We sat there for a while, hiding behind a tombstone haunted mansion. We noticed that it's true. Disney staff had signed their names on every single one. Finally, we got the courage to roam about, still being careful to not be seen. It was really eerie. Occasional guard or maintenance worker would walk by. We would just duck or hide behind a corner. It worked for about half an hour. Of course, we couldn't keep this up for long. Yeah, they caught us. I mean, give us props for even attempting and succeeding. But that's not where the story ends. First thing we said when they caught us was, "Are gonna take us down to the dungeon?" And we laughed. Security guard chuckled. too, so the mood wasn't too dreary. Told us we weren't the first people to try sneaking after hours, but he wanted to know how we did it. We explained the situation, and he actually laughed and said it wasn't a bad plan. Told us that he had to take us to the Disney jail to be further interrogated, which we thought was odd, but we figured from the beginning that if we had gotten caught, they'd take us down there. It might have been our plan all along. Maybe we wanted to see the Disney catacombs more than we wanted to be in the parks after hours. So we called for more workers to come and help escort us. We went our way towards Toontown. Then they took us right down in the elevator. Right into hell. First we noticed how expensive looking the elevator was. I don't know if that made sense, but it's hard to explain. It's like a stainless steel interior with mirrors all around, and the floor was tacky red carpeting. But it looked expensive. There were only 2 buttons in the elevator, not counting the emergency buttons. One said up, the other said down. I had forgotten to mention they had never handcuffed us or zip-tied our hands. Just kind of walked behind us, expecting we'd follow. Now we have tried to make a run for it. I mean, these people seem decent. How are we supposed to know what was going to happen? The elevator stopped, and we started walking down a perfectly shining, beautiful smelling corridor with no doors on either side. Just a plain empty corridor. We walked what seemed like an eternity. No one was taking any longer. It was me, my friend's a security guard, and 2 other maintenance workers. Finally, we reached a heavy metal door and a security code and card reader. One worker put his card in, the other typed a code on his keypad. I watched the code he typed in, 121566. I only remember it because I found out later what its significance was. It made me laugh looking back. Strange that I could laugh looking back. It led me and my friends into another corridor. One had doors down the hallway walls. Each door had a little plexiglass square, a 10 by 10 window at the top right corner. Looked sort of like a psych ward, to be honest. Not so much like a jail. He led us to room 1901. Inside was a single desk with, surprisingly, 3 chairs for me and each of my friends. Then they left us there alone, closing the door on the way out. We sat in the chairs like obedient little children and waited for them to return, but they never did. 2 hours went by, and no one came back for us. My buddy Tim went to the door, and surprisingly, it was unlocked. He didn't open it, though. He was worried that there'd be a guard on the outside, and that he'd think we were escaping. He wasn't looking for any more trouble. So about 25 minutes went by, and we got restless, and finally decided to leave the room. The hallway was empty like before. No signs of people, nothing. I started calling out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" No one answered our calls. We noticed surveillance cameras were placed above every door. We got to wondering if there was any living soul in this place at all. We should have left right there and then. Then again, whoever does the right thing in these kind of situations. Every door looked the same, and each one had a specific number above it. They weren't in any order like, say, rooms 1 through 10. They were scattered numbers. For example, our room had been 1901. The door next to it was 1205. We got to thinking, and finally assumed that they were just randomly chosen. We walked up the hallway and had no idea where we were going, what we were hoping to find, or even if it mattered. My other buddy, Guy, decided we should just leave. He said that if they really wanted us, they'd have come back, and maybe it was just a scare tactic. Maybe they just wanted to trick us into thinking we were being arrested, and were waiting for us outside to laugh. I felt weary of the whole situation, and Tim was just quiet the whole time, nodding his head here and there. He was more interested in looking in all the doors' little 10 by 10 inch windows. That wasn't a good idea. Tried to tell him, but of course, no one listens to reason when they freak out. Jeez, sorry. We were definitely freaked the fuck out at this point. The camera above the doors were capable of motion detection. Followed us as we wandered down the desolate corridor. A light a little red light at the bottom of the lens, blinking each second. No noise filled the air. All we heard was each other breathing. Then it happened. We had reached the end of the hallway. Unfortunately, the door at the end had another PIN code reader. I tried the PIN from before, the one I saw them type in, but it wasn't valid. At that moment, the lights in the hallway shut off, and we heard the doors. God damn it, I could still hear them to this day. Fucking doors open, all lining up the corridor, made a subtle creak, and then a boom as they hit the wall beside them with force. As I said, I'd entered the invalid code into the keypad. The lights shut off, and the doors open, except for the door with the keypad. We all noticed as the doors opened. Each doorway had a little bit of light seeping from its other pathway. We stood there, stunned, for a good 5 minutes, not knowing what to do. We figured we'd triggered some kind of alarm. This was just a protocol, standard drill, in case of an escaped attempt. What were we supposed to think? So we turned the other direction, away from the locked door. A sense of panic hit all three of us for some reason. We got the urge to run. No one agreed to running. It was like we all knew we had to do it. At the same time, sort of instinct. Like a baby gazelle knowing when to run from a lion. We were in a lion's den, all right. Okay. It wasn't until about the 10th door we passed that we began to look into the doorways as we passed them. Standing in the doorways were people in costume. We were running past Donald's, Mickey's, Goofy's, Pluto's, and all different kinds of Disney characters. It was insane, as we screamed at the top of our lungs. I know they say never look behind you as you run, but I did. They were leaving the rooms and following us. Not running, just casually walking towards us. I think that is what made it much more terrifying. Almost like they knew we had nowhere to go. Now, I don't know if it was all in my head, or from sheer panic and fear of the moment, but I swear on my mother's laugh I heard, "It's a small world," playing over an intercom. I have a fear of dolls. The ride always gets me creeps my whole life. Now I could see them, the little robotic dolls, standing in the doorways as we pass, still following were the costume characters. The dolls weren't chasing us, thank God. I would have died from a heart attack if I'd seen the dolls following the suit. But they didn't. Didn't even make the situation all better, I mean. How many times have you been followed by a group of costume individuals? Seemingly out to fucking eat you alive. At least that's what I told myself to keep myself moving. Staff men being devoured by fucking Donald Duck. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go out that way. Oh, dude, that looks so good on a tombstone. Here lies jackass, eaten by Donald Duck. Tim was crying. Guy was sweating and breathing heavily. I just kept turning my head to see if we were being followed, and of course, we were. I'm not sure how many doors we passed at this point, if there really were different characters at each door. But I knew this hallway had ended at some point. We were getting the fuck out of this place pronto. Easier said than done. Looked back after another minute or two of running. Noticed there was nothing behind us anymore. We could see. I heard footsteps, but figured we had gotten so far ahead and that they were just still walking casually like before. The hallway was still going on for what seemed like forever. The guide needed to stop, or he was going to faint from exhaustion. The door behind us was open, with the light on, but nothing inside. I decided we would hide in there till we caught our breath and could continue onward. So we closed the door behind us. I noticed the room was 1966. Again, that meant nothing at the time. Tim was pacing the room. The guy was laying on the floor, still breathing pretty hard, and I was at the window. Looking out, I saw nothing. No more music, no nothing. It's dark out, hard to tell for sure, but I figured I would have seen figure shadows or something. Still, I kept watch. After 15 minutes or so, the guy said he was good to go. Tim was the only one smart enough to pull out his new Razor cell phone. No signal, of course. He opened the door subtly, quietly, but heard no footsteps. Nothing was following us anymore, but we weren't taking chances. We got back to running. It only took us another 7 minutes to reach the door. give or take. It had no keypad, and it was open. We entered the corridor from before, and thank God, there were no doors. We ran for the elevator and got in, pushed the up button, and stood there, looking at each other, dumbfounded as to what had just happened. None of us spoke. We just waited till the elevator opened, back into Toontown. Started making our way out for the front gate. We kept a low profile, using the same duck and hide technique that had gotten us this far from the get-go. Maintenance workers and security guards were still about, but we couldn't take any more chances. Finally, Tim lost it and took off in a sprint. I couldn't imagine what had set him off until I looked and saw everyone in the park just stood there, staring at us with blank faces. I heard a voice over the intercom explaining that 3 fugitives had escaped from captivity and needed to be escorted back to the jails below. We booked it. Catching up to Tim, costume characters appeared from the shadows, workers and guards chasing us. Everyone was sprinting for us. I couldn't see well, but I imagined drool dripping from their jowls. They wanted us back down there. We had escaped, and they were pissed. The gate was just up ahead. Okay. Creepiest thing about all this was, besides the voice on the intercom, the park was dead silent. No chat from the workers, even now. We were running for what we assumed was our lives. From the characters, the workers, the guards, no one bothered to shout after us. No one yelled. No one said stop. Nothing. Just footsteps and the occasional cough from Guy. We made it past the park's front gate. We didn't stop until we got to the parking lot. Our car was gone, and we were left scratching our heads. We continued running down the road, which went for miles, stopping occasionally for us to catch our breath. We made it to a little corner shop, where Tim used his cell to call a taxi cab. When we finally arrived, we took the cab back to the hotel we were staying. The Disney hotel. We have the Toy Story room. Paid the fare and went back to our rooms. In the end, the next day, we got a call from the hotel's front desk, so we headed downstairs. There were officers waiting for us. They said our car had been impounded and we needed to pay the fine. They didn't ask us any other questions, so we didn't bother telling the police anything that happened. Even now on this random board, people who don't have a reason to disbelieve me don't believe me. So how could an officer of the law be expected to? We didn't bother. We simply paid the fine and drove home. Probably the best one. Something's Wrong by Mew. All this is by Mew, by the way. Here, I'll put it in chat. Do. Link to the song. Check out Mew. He makes all the Creepypasta music. And he's great, honestly. Okay. So you all know Walt Disney was born. We didn't talk about what happened the whole drive back. It wasn't until a couple of weeks later I got myself to search up the numbers. Curiosity, I guess. As you all know, Walt Disney was born December 5th, 1901, which, no, I didn't know that. Why would I know that? Room we were in was 1901. The door next to us was 1205. Also, he died December 15th, 1966, which was the key code the worker had put in to lead us in the main corridor. What a strange coincidence, I decided. Yeah, sure. Any of this was real or not, I couldn't tell you. Maybe our imaginations are wild. We were tired. It was around 1 a.m. when we made our escape, so it's paused without the answer. Never forget it, though. I haven't been back since. Me too, man. Me too. Thanks for ruining my plan to go to Disneyland. Harry Potter's Miraculous says. Nice story. 10 out of 10. Super scary! Controversial seems the story only serves to remind me of the soft spot I have for Disney pastas. That was not scary and kind of cheesy. 3 out of 10. I know, right? I could do so much better. Also, alright, what you got? It's a lot of shit talking for someone who has never made one. One thing you'll never hear me say is I can do better, because I honestly don't know if I could. I haven't tried, nor do I really want to try. A lot of shit talking for, yeah, what's that? Nothing? For one post? For their one comment? Yeah, fucking come at me. Fucking talons are out tonight, baby. Kra! Perfect. Okay. Right there. Hold this back up. Keep going. Not sure how long we'll stream. Probably go for about 2 hours if no one shows up. You know, so we'll have a good video for the archive at least. But you know, again, you are watching this and you are someone who does stop by the streams. Don't feel bad about not being here. It's totally fine. I understand creepypasta and SCPs aren't everything's thing, but aren't everybody's thing. But you know, I enjoy doing these streams. Thank you for watching the archive. If you are watching this, make sure to check out my Discord, my Twitter. Both of those should be linked on my channel. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe we should do a classic one. Like the Russian sleep experiment or Squidward suicide. No, we already done Squidward suicide. Oh, when the drink is empty, you open a new drink. How about that? Strawberry flavored. Good water. No much carbonation, but there's an easy fix for that. I'd show you, but I can only show so much in the virtual world. So you take it, and then you fucking slam it against your desk. And then you open it. But you do it in just the right way, so it doesn't go everywhere. You gotta be quick. Okay? The more of that gas you get out, though, less carbonated it'll be. I think one more whack will do it. Get ready? Whack. Ooh. Ooh, got close. Come on. Nice. See, how's that? Way better. That's way better. It's not like lightly carbonated. There's a fucking hack for you. I don't know why I can like only drink carbonated shit. Like I drink a lot of carbonated water and like soda. What the fuck were we doing? Oh yeah, we're reading Creepypasta. There's just like a random button. Or a button I can hit where it's just like boom, random. I got like the home page. Oh yeah, random. Here's a random story button. Bam. Give me that. This one goes into disappearances, mental illness, and dismemberment. Hentai. These motherfuckers. Oh my god. Hold on, I gotta fix this and show you this ad real quick. They're targeting me. They are targeting me. Look at this. That Godzilla vs. Evangelion. I want that so bad. But look at that. Ooh, look at that price tag. No. Fuck. Okay. This isn't very long, but let's get the music going. Triville longs for color. Well, why don't they go out and get some? Triville was once a beautiful. Hey, praise the moon. Thank you for the sub. Great to see ya. I just realized the alert box is behind me. Should be. Oops. But yeah, thank you so much for the sub. It really means a lot. For 3 months. Very cool. How you doing? Great to see you. Stop by a perfect time. Right before we started reading. Even got the music going. So I've been here in a bit. Dude, I've streamed like once in like 2 weeks. This is the second time. Like, I've just like gotten back to streaming, like, really. So don't worry about it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm pretty dead so far. But I have fun. I love reading these. Let's get started. It's a short one. Triville was once a beautiful town beside the beach. All of its residents were kind to each other. The town was litter-free. It must have been the luckiest town going. No robberies, murders, or violence. It was the perfect town. But that all changed. 1990s. A man named Ronald Baxter, crazed sociopath, looking for new ways to kill. Triville was an obscure town that not many people knew about, so he decided to test new ways on its residents. Hold on. I gotta show you this because this is now there's 2 of them. There's 2 ads with the same thing that they know I want. Bastards. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, many ways were tried. The first was blaring loud beeps into people's ears, driving them insane, and making them commit suicide. What? Okay. Next was a deadly poison which he put into Triville's water supply, making those who drank it die slow, painful death. You're probably wondering why Reynolds was doing this. He did it because he dreamed of a world where everyone agreed with him and worshipped him. Those who did not obey should be killed. He was crazy, but the thing was, he didn't just want those who didn't obey him to be shot or stabbed. He really wanted to teach them a lesson. Of course, none of that could ever happen, but he thought it could. But most of his ways didn't work. He knew the people of Triville would tell the police, or even worse, government. For all the months he had been killing people in secret, and had everyone's telephones disconnected. Triville was so out of the way, no one had really noticed all the disappearances. Reynolds had an idea. A horrible, gruesome idea. He rounded up every resident into the town's plaza. How did he do that? How did he do that, though? Then he took 5 people at a time, knocked them unconscious, and sewed their mouths shut. Soon, nearly everybody had their mouths sewn up, all except one teenage girl, Annie, who was ill from the poison water the day he rounded everyone up. So she stayed home, I guess. I guess staying home was an option, just she's the only one who did it. When her parents didn't return, she got worried and searched around the house. It had been 2 weeks since she left her house, and travel was different. It, it was like it lost all its color. She then saw a pile of dead people with their mouths sewn. She ran to the nearest building, which was a church. She prayed and prayed that her parents were okay. She started getting a feeling of being watched. Then, Ronald Baxter grabbed her. She grabbed onto the seat in front of her, leaving scratch marks all over it. Ronald took his time with her. When she woke up, she was so distraught that she had nearly noticed that she was laying beside her dead parents. All she wanted was revenge. Found Ronald stitching more people's mouths up. She grabbed the knife that he had been using, stabbed him to death, stitched his mouth up too. She walked out of town gates using Reynolds World Road. Travel longs for color. Across the sign that originally welcome to Travel. So if you're ever driving along a deserted road and you see the sign name, turn back. Say curiosity gets the better of you and you do go in. Let me just say you won't be leaving. I never did. I've been here so long I can't remember what my old town was like. Can't remember what my voice sounds like either. So please, stay away from Travel or end up like me with your mouth sewn shut. See what I mean? They're goofy and they're great. Let's talk about this for a bit. So, I mean, can you just like, I don't know, take some scissors, cut the suture, or thread or whatever he used? Why you gotta, why you gotta just stay with your mouth sewn shut? Um, how did he get everyone into town? You telling me everyone's just like, yeah, it's just fucking crazy, dude. It's just like, hey, you should come into town. You should come out in the middle of town. I want to show you something. And I'm just like, that's kind of cool. I want to see what he's doing. Everyone was like that. That's awesome. All right, let's see what comments say. Story was creepy. Great, good job. 9 out of 10. Sounds like an insane version of the Lego movie. It's weird that nothing on this website actually scares me. Like, literally nothing. Not even Lovecraft Chung. Not joking. Seriously nothing. Weird, perhaps. Oh, it's squeeze. Hold on. Maybe perhaps we've been reading the wrong stories. Not much really scares me either, but there are some well-written tales on the site. Alright. Hi. Mom says my turn on the Xbox. Okay. Alright, we're gonna be like this for 10 minutes. Alright. Is this what you wanted? Didn't know. Well, you're actually the first one to get it. Okay. Well written ones, yes, but scary stories, no. Hard to get scared nowadays, especially for real stuff happening. Um, I, I can't find any of these that honestly scare me because usually there's something so edgy and goofy that's like, what the fuck, man? Yep. I was my plan was to I'm gonna keep it at 1,000 for a little bit and then I'm gonna make it more expensive, but I just want people to be able to see it because it was new. I just want to roll the dice again. Let's do a random story. This one's in Devil and Demon. It's not very long. Been gone for a few months. Yeah, I can feel that. I, there was a like 3 weeks or so, or like not probably like a month. This past month, like I just really haven't been streaming like much at all, and it's mostly just because like I've been kind of in like a creative rut, and like I also was just trying to think of like new stuff to do, but like nothing was coming to me. So I've just kind of reached a point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stream what's fun, even if like I've already done it before, or like it doesn't oh, VR chat. All right. So I have VR. I have an HTC Vive, and I can stream on and like I can stream with it, and I would 100% be down to like stream VR chat. But there's one problem I have is my headset has been having this weird problem where I'll just be playing and then it'll just immediately disconnect and then stop working. Crashes like Steam VR. But then on top of that, it also like freezes up my whole PC. Oh, you get the same problem? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It's really frustrating. Because then when I try to because it'll like lock up my whole PC to where it's not accepting any inputs from the keyboard or the mouse. Then I just have to like turn off my PC. You have an Oculus? Maybe it's something with Steam VR and not the headset. Maybe my guess. Um so maybe I'll look into that and see if there's a way I can fix it. But for now, I can't really stream in VR because if that happens, then I'm kind of just stuck. I can't control anything on the PC, and I have to just close the whole thing. And that's not gonna make for a good stream. Um, yeah, I think I'll look into it and try to get it fixed. And if I can, we can do some VR streams. Probably won't get a custom avatar for VR chat because I don't have a 3D model, and usually that's required, or it requires someone with like talent. How often does it happen? See, that's the thing. It's a lot. It's not like a rare thing that just happens. Like I'd say like 50% of the time when I use it, it happens. Like sometimes I'll be able to play like Beat Saber, which is usually what I play on VR. Um, I can play that for like 2 hours and then it's no problem. But then sometimes I'll hop in, start doing one song, fails in the middle of it. So I think I'll take some time to make sure I get the VR working good, and do like VR chat streams and maybe some Beat Saber. No, probably not Beat Saber. DMCA will kill me. Come after, come after me so fast. I still want to do something for a 100 follower celebration, but it feels like it's been so long since it's happened that like what do I do? Yeah, try to figure it out, and then I'll try some VR. Something the viewers can join. Yeah, I'm totally down for that. I used to play Among Us. I used to also do fighting games. Uh, one problem I kind of just have is that there's not too many people who come by, so I don't know what like people have to be able to like play with me. But you just have to go for something that's pretty baseline, but then not everyone wants to play that. So it's kind of hard to like do that at the moment. But yeah, if there's any game you like want to request that you'd like want to play with me, like feel free to throw it out there. I might have it and then we can just play it, or might or might just be like I might just be able to get it and then just play it. Yeah, and then I'll try to get I really want to get VR going. This is my 1v1. Ugh. I don't know if I'd ever play Smite. I don't know if I'd ever play any mobile game again. I'm just the last time I did it made me feel like shit. Everyone just makes you feel like shit. Alright, let's just get back to this creepypasta. It had a big enough detour. This one. It was a catastrophic tragedy. The daughter of Graham Duke had been killed by a car. She was playing on the sidewalk when a girl her age called her over to see something interesting. The young girl was very vague about what there was to see. Emily, the daughter, didn't even know the child, but was intrigued by the invitation. The mysterious girl wore a red raincoat, much like Emily's, and her voice echoed through the street in an unworldly manner. Emily was contemplating the request as her father forbade her to venture from the sidewalk adjacent to her house. An urge, one which was uncontrollable, drove her actions as she was beckoned further by her caller. The girl in the raincoat now had wide, anticipating eyes as Emily tread across the road. The girl in the raincoat manifested an evil grin across her now monstrous face. Its monstrous face. It had now turned nightmarish, with an ethnicity of lime green and glowing red eyes. Daggers for teeth, and a serpent's tongue inhabited the space in its ever-growing gob. Emily's father saw her and ordered her to come back. He did not see the creature, who stood across from him, though. Let out a vile laugh. He called her over, and she quickly glanced back to see her father, but not hear him. Her eyes were filled with the screeches. Her eyes were filled with the screeches of tires against the road. She died instantly. Her eyes were filled with the screeches of tires against road. I hope they put that on the tombstone. I'm gonna copy that. Even after 4 years of the memory, her parents were still in grief, but they held their heads high anyway, hiding the fact that they were still pained tremendously by the incident. Father told her mother to calm down about it most nights, for he was the most troubled of all, did not want remaining of the ordeal. One day, while finishing up work late one night, he peered out of his window. What he saw was unthinkable. It was a figure around that of an 8-year-old girl's. He was curious why it was standing out there at night. But this thought was quickly erased. He became more transfixed on the face of the child. It was Emily's. He was shocked to an incomprehensible degree. First thought that it was the whiskey, but he was sobering up and he knew it. What if she was reaching me from the grave? He thought. He had to go over there and see her. It was his only desire to see her again. He fetched his clothes and headed out the door. "Daddy?" he heard. He took a face of amazing. He had a look of amazed befuddlement across his face. Emily was lit by the light of a lamppost, the only one which was on the entire street. A strange feeling was being created in his stomach, one of butterflies. Emily's face dropped to her father's. Emily's face drooped. Did I spell drooped? Whatever. As her father felt the unnatural cold air of the echo of a demon's vocals. He keyed the door slowly, looking behind him at his deceased daughter, but voice calls again. Now one which sounds like a choir of 1,000 angels, saying in tune, "Do you miss me?" Corrupted images in slow motion popped into his head, one of the car hitting his only daughter. "Yes," he said, his lips moved unnaturally, as if being shaped to speak a foreign language, but they produced English. He was quite terrified now, but the loss for his daughter overcame him. Suddenly, Emily's face was covered in horrific scars. She was crying and said, "Go, Daddy, don't trust her." Graham snapped out of his trance. He was met with a vulgar image, which appeared to be a lime green face with tear features like glowing red eyes and teeth that looked like daggers. His feet were planted, though, plain street where his daughter met her demise. Fought the mental challenge and broke free of the imprisonment. The creature now twisted and turned its body to reveal the form of itself. It had extremely thin limbs, crawled on all fours. The monster sung its last note to Graham. "Come with me to see her." Graham's eyes twitched as he nodded his head. The demon smiled playfully as it dug its claws into his legs, pulled him into the shadows. Graham didn't struggle. Nothing but a torn red raincoat lay on the ground. The deceptive entity which led the journey of her trying to find Emily. Hey. Now let's get fixed. It's me. Where's my face stuck? Hello, hello. I'm not squished. Too big. Too small. There we are. All right. So, what do we think of that one? Owls with no feathers. But I had these feathers on my head. Kind of boring. Wow. Made a small edit to your pasta. Change tears to tires. But you're not gonna fix her ears will fill the screeches. Oh my god. I read that wrong. Hold on. No. This is some fucking Mandela effect bullshit. I'll prove it. Well, it's still bad grammar. Tires against road, but all right. Oh, the Hungry Howies? You can actually see that. What? Oh, down. Yeah, there's seriously like 3 of these ads. Here, watch this. Get some fucking Hungry Howies? How about now? Usually, it's my guess is because they're like a lot of these places just. I just realized the music's still going. We have to save that for the pasta. We only have so much, and the SCPs. Let's just do one more random one, and then we'll probably move on to Thing in the Shadows. This one's short. We'll do this one, and then we will go on to SCPs. I usually like SCPs more anyway, so I'll probably get more enjoyment out of them. Because usually Creepypasta, like I said, usually has some really goofy shit in it that kind of ruins it. Like the Russian sleep experiment had me going for a while there, and then it's like, oh, like these fucking beings start like talking mad shit, like the things that are supposed to be like, what takes control when we don't sleep, and then it's like starts talking mad shit, and it's like, oh, okay. All right. Back to music. Back to past. So we got mechanic. Huh. Hmm. Is that a real picture of? So this is a fucking news article, so these are bad. Yeah, it's all really fucking. It's really fucking just bullshit. Uh, that's just what people are saying. That's actually like what they look like. See, because the problem I'm having is like that's the only picture, you know. Like you'd think there'd be more, but it's just this one. Apparently, huh? That makes sense since we have so much feathers to lower the sound of when we fly, so that we can eat stuff. Also, since ours isn't waterproof, we need a lot of insulation. But I've never seen one of my kind like that. It's embarrassing. Oh, hold on, we're not on SCP yet. Why are we on this SCP? Okay. No, let's get back to it. I always thought that my son had an overly active imagination, which is good to some extent. Sometimes it gets out of hand. The sad thing was that my son had no actual friends. He just sat in his room playing with random figments of his imagination. I would sometimes walk past his room and hear him asking his friends if they would stay with him forever. Then after a pause, he'd start to break down and cry. My wife thought that his imaginary friends were cute and that they were a natural part of a healthy childhood. However, I didn't agree, and everyone knew it. I thought that they were ruining his social skills because he never went out and interacted with any real people besides me and my wife. Then one day, he started acting so depressed that he didn't even play with his imaginary friends. He just sat on the sofa in the living room with his hands covering his face, sobbing quietly. Finally had enough and went up to him and asked what was wrong. Dad, he told me in a whisper, George is dead. The thing in the shadows killed him, and he told me not to tell anyone what I saw, but I told Jason, and now I told you. I'm really scared, Dad. I just wanted him to leave me alone. I told him that everything was going to be alright, even though his imagination was now becoming dangerous enough to scar him. Weeks later, I decided to set him up with a child psychiatrist, thinking that therapy can get rid of this thing in the shadows nonsense. After his first session, he started to become more cheerful and happy. After about a month, the therapy sessions weren't much help. Then I got a call from the hospital. As turns out, my wife was involved in a very serious car accident, which caused her and the other driver to die as soon as they got to the ER. Just couldn't believe it. I hung up the phone and punched the wall repeatedly in anger, cursing every time my fist made contact with the wall. My son walked into the room, and I ran and hugged him. Buddy, your mom was... They cut me off with the most disturbing thing that I'd ever heard come out of his mouth. I know. Thinking the shadows got her too. She was the second person I told about him. and you are the third. Then he walked off. I went to bed that night with a heavy head and blurry, tear-filled eyes. I didn't feel the same anymore. Sleeping alone with no one to talk to. I tried to close my eyes, dream of a better time, but I couldn't. Not because of the bad mood I was in, the sense of paranoia that I had. I felt something was watching my every move with shifty eyes, waiting for the moment that I finally leave myself unaware. Someone there? I called out, thinking at this time it was stupid. Then a figure appeared out of the shadows, breathing heavily with every step that its grotesque body took. It had 3 legs. Each leg had 10 razor-sharp talons or toes. It had small beady red eyes on its gray head. Arms were crooked so violently that I thought it had no bones at all. End of those crooked arms was home of 7 sharply pointed fingers. The last thing I saw was its jaw, contained a set of broken, jagged fangs. Then it pounced on me. But I survived, and then I went on to write a creepypasta. That's cool. Jesus, this kid wasn't very compassionate. Pretty good pasta. You talking about tortellini or this shit? Well, that's good. I get the next one up. All right. Oh, that's fun. Our creepypasta the best. I just love these creepypasta though. I love the comments too. Like, what was that one with the we had read that? It's just like I remember I think it was the Disney one. Someone was like, "Oh, I could write a better one," and then they didn't write anything. In fact, that was the only comment they ever left. That's kind of long. Pass it up and away. Big fan of. All right, the SCP series, baby. Look at all that. Look at all that gold. It's not in the first series. Give me a sec. I want to read this one. I never have. Usually like to read bigger ones. This is it. It's in the 2000s thinking. Hmm. 2000? Yeah. Oh, it's taking. Oh, can't find it. Interesting. What's the like a most popular? Give me 1 sec. Oh, I can just do this. Oh, interesting. Well, learn something new every day. So yeah, I guess we'll just do random ones for now. It's the best way to do things. Oh. Let's try that again. It'll work this time. There we go. SCP 203. Oh shit. Fuck me. I'm sorry. I just realized this isn't cropped right at all. I forgot that's just how it is on the websites are different. Sit on the telly. All right. Sorry, this is taking time, but here we go. SCP 203. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP 203 is to be kept in Storage Bunker 3A at Research Facility, redacted. While powered down, 2 D-Class personnel equipped with sound filtration equipment are required to guard Bunker 3A in case of accidental activation of defense mechanism. While active, SCP-203 is to be accompanied by an armed escort to any testing procedures. Description: SCP-203 appears to at one time have been a Caucasian human male of an indeterminate age. Subject is 2.5 meters tall. Those theorize that the skeletal framework argument the subject's original height, as indicated by irregular musculature, weighs approximately 200 kilograms. The subject's entire skeletal structure has been removed and replaced with a mechanical framework made of cast iron that seems to move on its own volition. This framework appears to be the sole cause of SCP-203's ambulation, independent of its musculature. Several areas of skin on the subject's body have been split, revealing a section of metal framework. In addition to these areas, some parts of the metal structure have been made to intentionally protrude from the flesh, seeming to form an aesthetic pattern. Augmentations to the subject's body include, but are not limited to. Footnote 1. These are the presence of the suture scarring indicates augments have been surgical rather than organic campaigns grown into the metal structure. We also have, while it's merely speculation at this point, some researchers believe these additions to be ritualistic in nature. Fingers have been extended into sharpened barbs approximately 1 meter long. The lips have been removed, revealing that SCP-203's jaws lack a jawbone, suggesting that the skull is a single hollow piece. Remaining oral tissue has been tied into the skull with several hook-like protrusions. In place of a mouth, a small audio transducer-like grate has been welded. This augment produces basic vocalizations through an unknown mechanism. Vertebrae have been replaced with a segmented iron bar, which has several sharp blades, has happily welded to it. Legs have 2 added joints, making them appear functionally digigrade. This guy likes to use big words. I understand that a lot of people do in SCP, and that's just kind of something you have to deal with. But this guy likes to use real big ones. Come on. Let's readjust in this chair a bit. SCP-203 appears to run an internal battery cell that runs for a 72-hour period, after which the subject enters into a state of hibernation that lasts between 3 and 4 hours. Subject cannot deliberately deactivate this power source, though it has expressed that these periods of sleep are only escape from its otherwise miserable existence. There's no current way of ascertaining the truthfulness of the subject's statements. Any expression of pain or depression by the subject is reviewed by staff as a method of eliciting a sympathetic response and are to be dismissed. X-rays, CT, ultrasound, and other forms of diagnostic imagery have proven incapable of penetrating the inner workings of SCP-203 deeper than the exploratory surgical activities, a second defense mechanism that redacted. Recently kind of like the SCP-203 is the ability to emit a high-frequency drone, superficially similar to auto-feedback, which has a severely damaging effect on the human nervous system. However, this mechanism is only activated when the subject is provoked or harmed. For more information regarding this ability, see the attached testing log. SCP-203 has, on numerous occasions, requested anesthetics, analgesics, and on occasion narcotics. These requests are pending approval. We have testing log and some footnotes. We also missed these. The subject displayed subhuman oral acuity despite this fact. So he can hear really well. Cool. But obviously, SCP-2 angelic nature precludes the use of magnetic resonance imaging. Yeah. That's all this here. Then we have two things here. We have a testing log and an interview. So testing log. Subject. Presiding researcher. Yeah, none of it's here. Subject personnel D-104. Presiding researcher. None, I guess. Method of induction. Accidental. SCP-203 is struck by D-104 when it refuses to enter storage. When defense mechanism activates, D-104 continues his assault and forces SCP-203 into containment. One minute after exposure, subject experiences a severe headache. 15 minutes after exposure, subject's headache increases in intensity and his ears begin to bleed. SCP-203 continues to screech. Note, D-171, the other guard on duty, is not affected by this sound. 20 minutes after exposure, subject leaves his post and checks himself into infirmary. 30 minutes after exposure, subject experiences seizure. Subject is now bleeding from all extremities. 35 minutes after exposure, subject begins to yell, "Shut it up," repeatedly, though he is no longer within audible range of SCP-203. 40 minutes after exposure, subject flatlines. Postmortem reveals subject died of a cerebral hemorrhage. Big brain bleed. Subject personnel D-90. Presiding researcher Dr. Redacted. Method of induction. Subject is locked in a cell with SCP-203 while being observed via remote cameras. D-90 is equipped with a taser and is told to use said weapon on SCP-203. Subject is reluctant but complies. SCP-203 begins emission of defense 30 seconds after provocation. 1 minute after exposure, subject becomes agitated and assaults SCP-203 again. SCP-203 continues emission and assumes fetal position. 10 minutes after exposure, subjects begin holding heads and ears and nose begin to bleed. SCP-203's defense mechanism continues. 25 minutes after exposure, subject experiences seizure. SCP-203's defense mechanism appears to cease. However, later analysis reveals that the frequency of the emitted sound has simply moved beyond the human range of hearing. 35 minutes after exposure, subject begins vomiting blood and bleeding from the eyes. 40 minutes after exposure, subject appears to be dead. Emitted sound generally ceases. 44 minutes after exposure, SCP-203 stands and moves over the body of the subject. SCP-203 then begins to surgically remove the subject's skeleton. At the same time, SCP-203 is removed from the cell and put into a storage. Note, it seems to indicate that SCP-203's defense mechanism is also a method of producing more SCP-203-like entities. Further tests allowing SCP-203 to continue this process are being considered. Cool. It's not terrible. Weird, spooky. It's Faust from Guilty Gear, but with like a metal skeleton. He's like a metal version of Faust. I have an interview with him. He's got cool shit to say. Dr. Redacted. I saw you requested to see the video footage from the test last week. Yes. Any particular reason? Pause. Eyes do not see. Happens beyond. Locked in the black. Like time of silence. And does not know what they do. I'm not sure I understand. You lose consciousness when your defenses are triggered? Yes. And you wish to know what you did to your assailant? After the black, we see only after. Within the black, our body is only the tool of unintelligible, possibly Arabic. Oh god. Oh. Why do you want to know this? 203 silent for several minutes. 203? They think us a thing. Think us something to watch. Girl, it sounds like we are a toy. But even when the evil inside me only talks to us as a man. Sorry? You talk to us like we are not metal. You call us by name. 203 makes an unidentifiable sound, possibly laughter. But when nobody hears, you call us by name. You call us Edward, like guards say, Edward Scissorhands. Becomes distressed. That would be unprofessional, 203. You call us Edward, you say you care, and you will help us. Session is over. The Doctor Redacted has since been denied access to observation of 203. Fucking, I don't care. What is this? Oh, give me a random one. No. Bad. Give me a different SCP. Bad. Bad. Lowest rated pages. Let's go. Pages and deletion. So that means link. Okay. SCP 5943. Class nothing. Special containment procedures. SCP 5943 is to be kept in the vat of 10% fluoroanthramonic acid, a 90% solution of chlorine. Reduce the chance of its anonymously creating objects that could help and it to escape. Is an anomalous sentient dragon-like snake highly resemblant of the Quetzalcoatl of Mayan mythology, living in a swimming pool in redacted Florida. When a couple of its areas were complaining about finding a giant snake in their pool that they swore was talking to them, MFTs moved quickly in the area. Many MFTs were knocked out by a strong smell of chlorine in the air. That's it. SCP. Here, let's get the creepy music. SCP 5226 to be put in a specialized nest more than one thermometer, one cooler, and 5 data sensors. This nest is to be put in a containment cell with grass, flowers on the floor in order to stimulate growth and trick the specimens into leaving there in the wild to ensure they do not become aggressive. Many changes to the behavior are noticed, and all SCP-5226 specimens are in the room at the time. Reported immediately to a level 4 containment specialist. Tell them their change in behavior. Containment is breached. Mobile Task Force New 7 is to be deployed on site ASAP. Note, the nest is to be hotter than 80 degrees Fahrenheit at any time. SCP-5226 is a species of hornet known as Vespa mandarina, or giant Asian giant hornet. Queen hereby referred to as SCP-52261, paralyzed prey, and redacted, that will grow into drones, hereby referred to as SCP-52262. These drones will then take redacted from SCP-52261 and proceed to repeat this process. Then there's the guards nearby referred to as 3, which defend the nest and collect the food for the rest. Yeah, I can see why this one's not very good as an SCP, and it's kind of dumb. Subject to pig. Insert the pig and see how the specimen reacts. I was attacked but didn't get in redacted. Okay. Now we have the second one, which is the dates redacted and interviewed by a redacted man, and the interviewer was Dr. Branson. Dr. Branson reported the new behavior to an agent. Interviewer, sir, there's been a recent change in SCP-5226's instincts, behavior, and all that Okay, so first tell me what changed in their behavior. So first, there'd be way more than usual. Second, they're moving towards the door. I assume they're trying to escape. Understood. We need to do is report the situation till we get a new containment cell. Better suited for it, okay? Okay. Closing statement. While the new cell came, SCP-5226 breached on. Okay, so what? Sucks. This one's got really low. This one. Give me a sec. Just gotta drink. Hey, I'm Reno Kumura. I'm Reno Kumura. Thank you for the follow. Means a lot. Hey. Now, continue on. This one says it's in rewrite. Yeah, so let's just go ahead. Press forward. Item number SCP-359. Object class Euclid. I'm gonna fall asleep to this, bro. You know, nothing wrong with that. This is supposed to be a calming stream. And, you know, if you fall asleep, I'm just glad to have you fall asleep. That's pretty late for me, actually. It's 10:30. Okay, but sorry, back to Creepypasta. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-359 is to be contained within a 30 by 30 by 30 meter concrete structure. Structure is not to be entered between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. local standard time. Any monitoring of SCP-359 during these hours is to be done via security cameras installed within the structure. SCP-359 appears to be a metal sculpture of a red-tailed hawk, Budos Geminicinus. The wingspan of approximately 4.3 meters, perched atop a 12-meter arch. During daylight hours, approximately 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. local standard time, displays no signs of movement and does not respond to any external stimuli. However, it's been determined by the Foundation that between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m., displays the typical behaviors of an adult red-tailed hawk, apart from being nocturnal. SCP-359 is apparently capable of flight. The mechanisms through which it accomplishes this have not been determined. Its wings are too short to allow for flight. SCP-359 was originally located just south of Redacted in the United States. First came to the Foundation's attention when local foresters began finding dead bodies of white-tailed deer in the area, within a 1 kilometer radius of the sculpture, which looked to have been preyed upon. The white-tailed deer has no natural predators in the state of redacted. Okay. Investigation officially began on data expunged when motorists on the stretch of the state route redacted. Passes by SCP-359 reported that the hawk was not on top of the arch on the same day. A local farmer reported finding the sculpture in his field, standing over the body of one of his cows, which had injuries consistent with predation by a large bird of prey. The farmer was administered a Class A amnestic and fed the story that the cow had died of natural causes, its body eaten by coyotes. Route redacted was closed for repairs, and SCP-359 was transferred to its current containment site and placed with an immobile replica. Addendum 1. Prior to containment, no evidence existed that SCP-359 had ever attempted to prey on anything besides hoofed mammals. However, since being contained, it has attacked, killed, and eaten 4 D-Class personnel entered its containment structures during restricted hours. How the fuck did that happen? Investigation of the cause of the shift in dietary preferences is ongoing. Okay. It's just a fucking metal hawk. Cool. I think we can know what state it's in, bro. It's not that big. It's, you know, big country. Alright. Let's go back to these low-rated SCPs. Ooh, this one's kind of long. Okay, all right. Ooh, it's a Keter class too. The first reading stream I actually did was a bad SCP reading stream. Someone had actually made a thing where it was like really bad SCPs, and they had made it to where it was like a joke SCP that was a like bucket of like horse shit that would spew the creepypastas out, and that's where they came from, and that's why they were so bad. Even though they were actually just other people's creepypastas that were written, they were just really, really bad. And they come up with like joke ways to kill them. It was kind of great. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the mic, but it's like right in my face because I'm trying to have a nice, calm reading session. Let's go. Item number. I'm sorry, I can't see it. Item number SCP-238. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. SCP-238 is currently contained by the original means. Current SCP protocols have proven unable to fully contain SCP-238. All exploration of SCP-238 is suspended until full sustained containment has been achieved. Any and all personnel attempting to enter SCP-238 are to be physically restrained and moved to an outside containment area upkept by the current barrier and top priority. A minimum of 2 personnel to be present at all times for upkeep and security. No testing, samples, or explanation to be conducted within SCP-238 until full containment of SCP-238 has been achieved, or with approval by Site Overwatch. Any and all persons entering are to be deemed missing, presumed dead. Okay, so what is it? Description. SCP-238 is an enormous underground facility with a single entrance to the island Shimata to the extreme north of Russia. Okay, you see? That's your first mistake. You just went on this whole thing about how it can't properly be contained, but it's a facility with one entrance on an island. Fucking SCP in, like, SCP canon is basically this unstoppable, like, entity. They will block off, like, whole areas of countries because there's an SCP containing them. I think they can handle, like, one remote island in Russia, you know? Tunnel networks have been shown to extend for thousands of kilometers. Major junctions under redacted Oceanic junctions have been observed to include several connections to Redacted. Originally found, the entrance was concealed at a massive wall of bricks covering and carving. The wall was removed and exploration began. Initial tests showed that the walls of SCP-238 were primary fossilized tissues of unknown origin. What? Several structures in the facility led initial exploration teams to include the SCP-238 is or was at least half biological. Half biological. Shortly after discovery of a central chamber, reported to consist of partially rotten flesh and badly decaying metal structures, personnel began to disappear, and numerous accidents claimed 8 lives. Noises and other hallucinations were reported, along with Redacted and other Redacted. 8 containment walls and associated personnel were destroyed by unknown means, with the survivor reporting Redacted unconfirmed. In addition to rapidly escalating aggressive phenomenon by SCP-238, placement of the original wall has contained the item efficiently, but new SCP containment and research strategies have been requested. Its current containment prevents in-depth exploration and experimentation. Addendum 238-S7. Upon the escape of 6 juvenile instances of SCP-1013, the local SCP team assigned to SCP-238 reported SCP-1013 squeezing through the original wall and entering the underground chambers. After 05, a bunch of redacted shit were notified, they elected to send in a single team to retrieve SCP-1013. Further information regarding the expedition is found in document 238 S7A. Clearance level 3 required. End result of the retrieval team were 6 dead, 2 critically injured, 1 missing in the action, and 6 juveniles SCP-1013 extras being recaptured. Further research into SCP-238 will be carried out by Dr. Redacted and its research staff under SCP's supervision. And this is the audio log from that. Personnel D299. I don't see nothing. Not the damn thing we're looking for. Not the fucking suit that was supposed to watch us. Not even a goddamn exit. Agent Redacted. You will hold your comments, Agent. It's currently covering. You will hold your comments. Agent Redacted is currently covering the central chamber, so nothing can escape. Like us? I don't see. Shut it. What? Why'd I have to? I said quiet. Now. Carry on like a fucking Boy Scout. Shut the hell up, you idiot. There's movement ahead. Sounds of scraping and grinding are heard. Several minutes pass. That don't look like number redacted, but that ain't natural. That's not Delta 299er. Open fire now. Agent, last night's terminated. Personnel, last night's terminated. End. Beautiful. Up goes the weasel indeed. Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots. Anyone got any requests? Your Creepypasta or SCP? Or maybe even something different? Ooh, I just got a good idea. Well, I guess we gotta go to Know Your Meme. I'm sorry. No thanks. Take me back to the meme zone. Alright. What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I'm involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills I'm trained in guerrilla warfare, and I am the top sniper in the entire U.S. Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision with the likes of which you have never seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I'm contacting my secret network of spies across the U.S., and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the fucking storm, maggot. Storm that wipes out your pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I could be anywhere, anytime, and I could kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I'll use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you. Maybe you would have just held your fucking tongue. But you couldn't, you didn't, and now you're paying the price. You goddamn idiot. I shall shit fury all over you and you will drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Try saying that's calming. You should clip that, and then you can use that as Oliver Hoot's threats. Oliver Hoot's threatened your life. Let's see, let's go with October 6th. A lot of it's just talking. No, I'm not gonna. Nah. A sapient ear of corn. I think they meant fucking sentient. Sentient, not fucking sapient. Christ, this looks fucking cringy as all hell. Let's try this one. Okay. Alright, let's try this one. SCP number. No, sorry. Item number SCP 3468. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP 3468 is surrounded by a chain link fence that is exactly 10 kilometers in circumference and covers the entire perimeter of SCP 3468's area of effect. Fence lines to be constructed exclusively by tantalum carbide and hafnium carbide. Oh, it's real. Alright. Entire perimeter of the fence lines to be patrolled by its entirety by a minimum of 3 members of security every 2 hours. Under no circumstance are any non-Foundation personnel allowed to enter within the 10-kilometer area of being effected beyond the fence line. SCP-3468 is to remain on the moderate setting at all times when not in active testing. When in active testing, security is to be placed on standby with rapid response teams ready and equipped with fire prevention equipment. All SCP Foundation personnel required to wear fire retardant suits during active testing. Not only permitted to remove them when further than 15 kilometers from SCP-3468. Any non-Foundation personnel attempting to enter SCP-3468's enclosure are to be turned away under the premise of cleanup of Fort McMurray wildfire. Many non-personnel individuals continue to persist. They should be detained and questioned. What is it? SCP-3468 is a metallic road sign located southwest of Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. SCP-3468's front contains a half-circle segmented into 4 separate coordinates marked from left to right as low, moderate, high, and extreme. The front of the sign appears to be facing the entrance path to Horn Trails Park. On first inspection, SCP-3468 is visibly indistinguishable from all other wildfire warning signs in the Fort McMurray area. Following detailed analysis of SCP-3468 and its components, it was discovered that instead of plastic pointer that similar wildfire warning signs in the area used, SCP-3468's pointer was replaced with a replica pointer of a wooden construction. The replica pointer shows no visible variation from any similar wildfire warning signs. When the pointer on SCP-3468 is moved to any coordinate not marked as moderate, the environment in a 10-kilometer radius around SCP-3468 will begin to alter itself to match the marking to which the pointer is now pointing. SCP-3468, when placed on the low and high setting, will result in average temperatures and weather patterns in SCP-3468's areas of effect matching regional April and August respectively. When placed on moderate, it will cease all anomalous activity and enter a docile state. Temperatures inside of SCP-3468's area effect will obtain no abnormal weather patterns during the time. When SCP-3468's pointer is placed on the extreme quadrant, similar series of changes as to the high setting take place. When the effective climates of the environmental changes in place, a small fire of light green coloration will begin directly below SCP-3468, continuing to burn rapidly in dry and hot conditions. The flame, known as SCP-34681, reacts similarly to a standard flame except that when in contact with any living organism after contact with a living organism it made, except when in contact with any living organism after contact with a living organism is made, it will begin to consume until no living matter remains on said organism. SCP-34681 is capable of fully consuming the human body in approximately redacted seconds. It is capable of spreading around 10-kilometer area and effect can continue to burn and travel outwards and away from SCP-3468. After the fire leaves SCP-3468's 10-kilometer area of effect, the flames will lose its unique coloration and anomalous abilities. Wildfire created by it will stop when all available fuel sources of SCP-3468's area of effect are destroyed. Testing has been inconclusive as to if SCP-34681 is sentient. SCP-3468 shows a full immunity to heat and fire damage with the ability to withstand temperatures beyond the point of melting steel, or obtaining no damage to any components or paint. SCP-3468 is inactive between the months of December, January, and February, and all changes of positioning of SCP-3468's pointer create no environmental changes. Investigating in the Department of Fire Safety in Redacted reveals that SCP-3468 was originally placed in the current position in Redacted. SCP-3468 has only ever been maintained once, the problem being cited as vandalism, missing pointer. The name of the individual sent to repair SCP-3468 is not listed in any form of government documentation. Cross-analysis with known anomalous individuals and groups is currently underway. Addendum. SCP-3468 was ordered to be relocated to Site-45 for active testing away from the general public. However, when Agent Redacted attempted to remove SCP-3468 from its fixed position, it began to vibrate before exploding to a ball of fire with the approximate temperature of 1200 degrees centigrade. SCP-3468 then began to rapidly pump superheated steam out of its post, which began to pump outwards towards the 10-kilometer limit. SCP-3468 returned to its docile state, leading to some casualties and some confirmed dead. Full casualty list, whatever. The reports via robots and mechanical methods have so far met with failure due to the inability of the Foundation machinery to operate under such high temperatures. Over the course of the last 2 months, we've been able to break down the events leading up to the Fort McMurray's wildfires and discovered an individual we suspect is reasonable for the maintenance of and possibly anomalous properties of SCP-3468. Below, I attached for 3 interviews from individuals who had close connections to SCP-3468 and its origins. I suspect we're not dealing with any rogue individual, but a violent, radical, eco-terrorist group. Alright, let's quickly read these interviews. Okay. Take a drink real quick. Alright. Interviewed? Andrew McLaughlin. Interviewer, Researcher Burnett. Forward, SCP-3468 was discovered by Captain Andrew McLaughlin of the Yanavir Central Fire Station after responding to the Fort McMurray wildfire and redacted. Following is a recording of an interview between Captain Andrew McLaughlin and Researcher Burnett. Begin log. You want me to talk into this thing? Sounds of shuffling as he moves closer to the recorder. Hello? Oh, there's an echo. Focus, Mr. McLaughlin. We need your undivided attention. Now state your name and occupation for the record. Sorry. McLaughlin, Andrew, station captain of the Yanavir Central Fire Station. You describe why you and your men were in Two Horns Trails Park on this redacted date. Well, we were sent in to help out Fort McMurray. Things were pretty bad over there. People fleeing from their homes, entire forest burning down. It was like hell on earth. So basically, it was like my mother-in-law's house. Please, Mr. McLaughlin, focus. Yeah, sorry. So anyway, the damn thing finally stopped. We began to move into Fort McMurray, and then we got into Two Horn Trail. It's like walking into an oven. Seriously, it was like, what, 25 degrees out in Fort McMurray, right? When did you come across SCP-3468? SCP? Sorry, pal, I don't do drugs. No, not... The sign. Where did you find the sign? Oh! That sign. Christ, did that thing ever send me and my boys for a loop. So yeah, we were walking with lots of the park, right? Everything was pitch black with ash. And then suddenly, like a fucking angel from the heavens, a goddamn multicolored sign sitting in a burnt out forest area, warning people not to start wildfires. It was the world's cruelest joke. Focus, Mr. McLaughlin. Focus. You and your men go investigate the sign. Yeah, sure as hell we did. It was too extreme, just to add insult to injury. But the damnedest thing, there's still fire burning around under the bloody thing. Not a large flame, but big enough to be a threat. I try to stomp it out, but the damn thing doesn't give. So put my fire extinguisher up to the job, and it still doesn't give. So my boys, a fellow named Sims, thinks I might be getting fuel from something below the surface. He grabs his fire axe, and he's raising up to swing down a flame. But he bumps into the pointy thing on the sign, and knocks it to a yellow side, whatever that is. And the fire just disperses, gone before we could even touch it. Interesting. Did you do anything else to the sign? Meddle with it? Damage it or anything? Nope, we called it. We called it in and made our way back, not long after you guys showed up, and here we are now. Well, thank you for your time, Mr. McLaughlin. My pleasure. Hey, guys, got any liquor around here? Second interview. I'll sign with a Peter Naylor. Once again, Researcher Burnett doing the... Okay. Peter Naylor is the head of a Department of Fire Safety in Fort McMurray and responsible for the upkeep of all government-regulated signs in the Fort McMurray area. Following is an interview between Peter Naylor and the Researcher Burnett aimed at discovering the identity of the individual who maintained SCP-3468. Begin log. Can you state your name and occupation for the record? Sure can. Peter Naylor, head of the Department of Fire Safety at... Can you describe your relation with the sign? Hands photos of SCP-3468 to Mr. Naylor. Son, you're gonna have to be a little more specific than that. We have a baker's dozen of these signs scattered all over the damn place. particular sign is located near the entrance path to Two Horn Trails Park. Trails Park. Oh yeah, that sign. That's one tough son of a bitch. Probably burnt to a crisp now, though. Anyway, not much to say to my relationship with it, other than I saw it one bloody time. Although the time that I was assigned Greg's kit to deal with some vandalism on it or something. Tell me anything more about the individual you assigned to maintain it? A name, possibly an address? No, not much I could say on the kid. The only job he did for us, and he was damn adamant that he would be the one to do it. I don't know though. He's one of those God of Green or whatever nuts. Interesting. What can you tell me about this God of Green group? Other than the fact that they would come and raise hell at my office every time we cut down a single fucking tree. Not much, but my buddy Greg Thus' son would know. Him being a member and all. Not sure he'd be willing to talk to any of you government type folk, but I'm sure you can persuade him. He lives down at Redacted Street. Big red house, can't miss it. Stands up from recording table. Thank you for your time, Mr. Naylor. This information is very helpful. Hey, no problem. And hey, if you're thinking about going to see the thrust, tell Greg that Peter says hi. Final interview with James Thus. James Thus is a suspected member of a possibly anomalous group that, up until this point, has been referred to as God of Green. The following interview between James Thus and researcher Burnett is focused on the validity of his suspected involvement in God of Green and SCP-3468. Can I get a name and occupation for the record? Father James Thus, apostle and devotee of the Green Hand of God. Green Hand of God? Up to this point, we believed your group was known as God of Green. Well, to say makes an ass out of you and me, Mr. Burnett. I'm sorry, I don't remember giving you my name. World travels fast in small towns, Mr. Burnett. Apologies if you find it tad off-putting. It's fine. Now, can you tell me about the signs of the times? Beg your pardon. It was a gift from the Green Father. A simple wooden pointer with the ability to conduct a basic fire prevention sign with the heights of the sky and the magma of Earth's crust. How did you attain such an object? Raises his hands and cups his palm. The Green Father himself gave it to me. His use for both the gift and me were quite clear. Both myself and the sign of times had the same purpose. You are very forthcoming with this information, Mr. Thus. You're not afraid of the possible retaliation from your organization? No. I know that when I leave this world to enter into the brace of the Green Father, no loyal member will take my place. I am not a messenger. I am a warning. Say again? James Thus stands up and reaches his pants to pull out a small wooden box holding above his head. May the Green Hand of God guide me and watch over me as I burn. Brushes the small wooden box and it's engulfed in a bright green flame. Gets it from staring back to day. Holy fucking shit! Hey, someone get me out of here! And then it ends. Okay. Now, unless anyone has any particular requests, I think I'm going to call it for the night. Voice is getting tired, and yeah, it's fun. Definitely going to do this again at some point, because this is something I very much enjoy. Even though a lot of people don't like to come hang out and listen to Creepypasta, it's a fun experience for me. And, you know, as long as you are watching this and you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. I don't think we'll rate anyone tonight, so I'm gonna call it a night. Special thank you to I'm Reno Kukumura. I'm Reno Kumura. Thank you for the follow, very much appreciated. Thank you for Praise the Moon for the sub. Big ups, really means a lot. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow, but we will see if I have anything. I'm going to be making a schedule soon so that I can so that I may actually like have something to like stick to, and then that kind of forces me to stream more. I like streaming. It's hard for me to motivate myself to do it sometimes. But you know, recently I've been really pushing myself, and yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, see you guys all later. I love you all. Make sure you sleep well. Stay hydrated. All right. Bye. Goodbye. Bye bye. Wink. Wink. Okay. Bye bye.